Today we are going to unbox and set up the Ender 3 Max. That's right, a bigger printer than your average Ender 3 or Ender 3 Pro. We're going to print with 300mm bed size. Here's all the things that come with it in a nice tidy bag and in their little cubbies. The ever so handy user manual, which I will use to set it up, which I then found out later that on the USB drive that comes with it, there is a video also that shows you exactly how to do it. Also, the circuitry wiring for the board is very helpful in my case because I'm going to also be adding a BL Touch to it. Once I get all the stuff out of the top tray, you can then remove it, and the main printer is in there with the crossbar section, and then it is also held in with a piece of styrofoam that you have to carefully pull out as the wires are all connected to the base, and then you can pull the whole machine out, which is significantly better than how the kits used to be. Maybe not exactly for Creality, but I remember when you just got a kit with some motors and some wires and the extrusions and you had to screw and put everything together. Yeah, this is much simpler and better. A bed knob came off, so I'm going to go ahead and put that back on and then go through the assembly really quickly because it's in the manual as well as a video of how to do it, so nothing groundbreaking, just go ahead and follow the manual or video. I will just note a couple of things that will be different for mine. For some reason, as you can tell, the cables are shorter than they probably should be. There is no way that you can have the Z-axis all the way at the top with the cables sitting out the back and have them not too tight. I ended up having to go off to the side and it won't be able to go all the way up to the top, but you'll see that later. I also disconnect the Z-stop because I won't be using it, I will be using the BL Touch. That's pretty much the only difference to the default setup. The cable for the display goes to the farthest left port if you're looking at it from the front. I'll change the filament holder to go to the front later, I just want to move it out of the way right now. But you can put that tube in either direction. While I finish putting that together, I might as well tell you about some of the coolest people in the world. That's right, patrons. Thank you so much for your support. And thank you, viewers, for watching. If you would also like to become a patron, go to patreon.com/geekhappens and sign up for a tier. Get access to my 3D models as well as some discounts at my store at 3dmtabletop.com to get dice, miniatures, and more for your D&D games. And now to add the BL Touch. The kit comes with a few different brackets, but you only need one of them. Then you need to get into the main board through a few screws in the top as well as in the bottom to get to the main board, where I will disconnect the existing Z-stop from the board and then plug in my BL Touch into the port designated for it, designated not only on the board, but in the instructions, which are also really good for this kit, so it's really simple and easy to follow. I unthread the Z-stop cable and unplug it from the board. And then I plug in the BL Touch cable and rethread it through to follow the other cables back up over to the extruder. I'll even put some zip ties before and after the little cut in the extrusion there, and then put the case back together. I then remove the Z-stop switch since I will not be using that. Attach the BL Touch to the given bracket. This bracket will then attach onto an already existing spot on the Ender Max, which is great because you don't have to print a mod or anything. It's already there, ready to receive the BL Touch. When I first put it on there, I don't like how the wires go towards the fan, so I'm actually going to flip mine around so that the wire goes on the other side. Make sure that I can go all the way to both sides on the X-axis without it tugging on anything, and then zip tie that together along the cable line. You should also check your power supply to make sure that it is set to the correct voltage, and then plug it in and turn it on. Now for this with the BL Touch, I went and downloaded the firmware from Creality's website. It is a bin file, and it's the only file you want to have on your SD card. When you insert your SD card and turn it on, it should flash it. Oddly, I never saw it do any progress bar or anything, so either it didn't actually flash it, or it did it really fast. In any case, when I checked the version, it was the newest version, and here I'm going to test the BL Touch with my hand on the power just in case I need to turn it off real quick in case something doesn't work. But it does indeed work. So either it already had the correct firmware on it, or it did flash it and for some reason never showed a progress bar, which is really odd because every time I've ever done it before, there's been a progress bar. So then I go ahead and make sure that it does an auto home, and then I will manually make sure that the bed is as level as it can be so that it doesn't have to do as much adjustments on the fly when it's printing. And then I'm going to start a test print with the filament that they provided. I added the G29 script for auto leveling, and then I also have it wipe a little bit on the left side. That gives me also a little bit of time to go ahead and manually start moving that down close to the bed where it needs to be. And then once it starts printing the actual test print in the middle of the bed, I will keep watching it, and as it prints, I'll move that up and down as needed until I get that layer. Once it looks good, I'll push the button and make sure to store the settings in the EEPROM, and it will beep to confirm that it did save that. And this is what it looks like compared to the normal Ender 3, quite a bit bigger. And here is my finished first layer. It went from the bottom right up to the top left, which is where it was perfect up there. And as I peel it off, you're going to see that in places where it was too far away from the bed, it wasn't connected like that. But once you get it to that good layer there at the top, then you're all set to print at your heart's content. I hope you enjoyed this video, and go ahead and hit that thumbs up button and subscribe so that you can see what I did later with this printer, printing this bigger thing that is another project for another time. Until then, go print something cool, I guess.